January 1, but we'll be transporting people to hospitals with blood on board. That's good for us.
It's a quick question. How do you define a sick person?
Sick person?
Yes.
Anything that doesn't fall in the other category.
Oh,
So chest pain, traumas.
So it's all everything else.
Our big thing is STEMI and stroke, which I talked about. We're here the last meeting. STEMI and stroke, we're award winning. We're American Heart Association Gold Award winning for treatment of STEMIs and stroke. In fact, as of this year to date, we're like almost 100% for that treatment. And because we really get on our people through QA, QI, and treatment of these things, because these are things we can really make a difference in them walking out the door of a hospital or not. So, again, this is call volume, year-to-date call volume, mutual aid requests. A lot of these mutual aid requests are, we don't necessarily go there, we get dispatched, and then we get canceled once they'll call back in from a hospital and go. But we've only given up 20 calls year-to-date, whereas last year we gave up 53 calls. So we're doing 99% of our calls we're getting to. And we're covering in Malta and Stillwater. We cover 2 towns, 77 square miles with 3 ambulances, 3 ALS ambulances at all times. So,
And ALS?
advanced life support, paramedic and an EMT usually, sometimes 2 paramedics, it depends on staffing. Yes, we do Lusick Valley and Rensselaer County. We only go over there, I think Rensselaer County 3 or 4 times this year so far. So, we don't go a lot. Lusick Valley does come into Stillwater for us when we're all out. So, that's a relationship we built years ago before I came here. And, we like to take care, we do have a mutual aid agreement with all Saratoga County, and we respond anywhere in Saratoga County, up to Galway, up Edinburgh. We actually would go in there this year, so busy days. Here's our call volume, a lot like just saw. It's going up. You don't see 24, but 24 is an increase. And the red is Stillwater, and it's pretty much 80-20. It's pretty much stayed that way. And we're both growing. This is a big thing with insurance. You see age is by 10, going up 10 years in age, and you see
Wow.
older population. In orange, that's the increase you're seeing, and people that know our population, we're a growing older population in Malta, and the bulk of our calls are older people. They're the sicker, they're the ones with health issues, and that's where we're at. So people on Medicare, Medicaid, and so there's less financial reimbursement, which I have another slide on CMS. 43% of what we bill is covered. And if you read that bottom part, that's pretty much a law. There's a lot of laws that apply to us. What's going to also hit us is
What does that quote mean to me on the bottom?
that's
That means you can only squeeze so much out?
that's a source. The source of that quote above.
It's like with your doctor. Your doctor bills you $1,000, and your insurance says we're only going to pay 40% of that.
You have to
They can't charge you the rest of it.
Right.
So the biggest hit with the aging population, Medicare and Medicaid, commercial insurances, aging population, plus money back, and no means
And the 2 things are about to hit us, which hit the helicopter industry. No surprise is that, which is a federal thing which goes along with this. And in New York State is a balanced billing state where you can recoup from the patient what the insurance doesn't pay. People with commercial insurance are responsible for, and people with Medicare might have a copay, but it's a pretty consistent copay unless they have a secondary insurance. There's a lot of it, it's an ugly process, but it's the world we live in. These are kind of the costs of an ambulance now, within an ambulance. Our next two ambulances next year, one's gonna be $252 because we ordered it a year and a half ago, and the other was $302,000, and that's not with all this stuff. A lot of the like cardiac monitor we're taking out of the older ambulance, the pumps, the Lucases, the ventilators, we're taking out of the other ambulances, so that's what a new ambulance fully loaded is going for. When I came on 6-7 years ago, it was $174,000. That's inflation, what you just heard, cost of everything's going up, it's emergency services, you know, it's disgusting. It's our economy, and the vendors have it, and they keep sending me letters, we're increasing our prices, pineapple, we're increasing our prices again. And they're double digit increases, they're not single. These are the things we do: basic life support, which is EMT, pipe skills, splitting, oxygenation, advanced life supports, usually drugs, cardioversion, shock and disease pictures, in our drill, you know, ventilators, pumps, and, you know, IV stuff. And we do teach CPR. Anybody needs a CPR course, you can contact us and we can schedule that. Our medically facilitated innovations, we do about a dozen a year of those, and when we have to take somebody's airway, breathe for them because they're too sick, whether it's stroke, trauma, they're dire circumstances, and we have to take their airway away and control it for them. We do a lot of specialty stuff, we're well trained, and we do a lot of care for sick patients. And we do standbys as well for the Speedway and high school at store. So, in a nutshell, our income's about 3.1 million. Our employees cost us about right around 2.4, approximately 2.4 million. Vehicles, equipment, and all the rest cost about 1.1. So we're at a deficit, so we're taking that number out of our fund balance, and that's our allocation that we're looking for. And we have a lot of expenses coming in 25.
So just to clarify here, so you're proposing in your 2025 budget that you're gonna take $315,000 out of your fund balance? Okay. And you can afford that? Okay.
Because we didn't buy an ambulance this year, we were supposed to buy an ambulance this year.
Oh,
It was put on hold, so we're carrying it over to next year.
Is this for a year or multiple years? This 1 year? Are we in talks for contracts, more than a multi-year contract?
Generally speaking, that was another topic that was kind of touched upon at our last workshop with them. I'm not sure if you remember, I don't know if you want to expand on that, but he's referring to doing a multi-year contract.
We did talk about it, and we did one a few years back, and
Well, it seems like the multi-year hurts you if you guys
it was
flatline,
supposed to be open.
and we didn't know we were gonna
for
get COVID,
financial,
yeah.
And the board
you know.
basically said,
inflation.
we're not giving you anything, you got money, you can spend your money, that had some effect, and, that burned our board, and our board isn't interested in anything more than what they do. So, unless you wanna write better language or stick to
I'm
it.
fine. I'm good.
right now we have no contract, right?
We have no contract, we have no contract with the town of Stillwater, but we're meeting our end of the deal, we have a agreement, and we're doing what we do here, the same thing we do here. And we're not in any way shirking our responsibility. We have a job to do, and we do it every day.
Hey Scott, you knew I was gonna ask this one. mutual aid compensation. When you go to some other town, it doesn't have the equipment or the training that you have. Is there any extra is there any other compensation from that town that helps your baseline call charges like?
No, what we could do is bill, you can only get paid if you transport the patient. If you don't transport them, you don't get paid. We go to, like, for example, Boston Spa a lot, and they try to bill us for the one paramedic they send in a fly car. We don't pay them because number one, we don't have a contract with them, and we're transporting them. So if they man their ambulance instead of a fly car, they can take care of their own territory. We don't need to go there and do mutual aid. And so if we go to Clifton Park or Wilton and we do a call, we transport the patient, we get that, whatever's insurance and the bill pays.
Allowable cost, nothing over that stuff.
Yes, whatever's allowed.
And you get the whole thing in full?
It would be nice if we did, we wouldn't be here.
So you get, and you get the allowable fee in full to our EMS. None of it happens to Half Moon or
Nope,
Boston Spa.
the transporting agency, they're basically forfeiting that when they call. Because they're all out like we are. When we have all three ambulances out and somebody comes in and transports somebody, we don't see any of that. That's theirs, they did the work, they get paid.
Let me ask you a question. So how often do you go out on a call and not transport? Does that happen a lot?
It's different. We probably do 300 or 400 cancellations or standbys or, go with the fire department and don't take a patient or RMAs. RMAs refuse medical attention.
Right, so you go to somebody's house, right?
Might have something something we can fix, like a cut or burn or something, or they might be able to go to Malta Med on their own. And those are things that
You don't get paid for.
What happens to you strip the old ambulance out with all the nice equipment? What do you do with the old ambulance? Do you
sell it.
sell it?
And that's our intention.
No, that's good.
You don't get a lot from them, but, the last one we got 10,000 for, but,
I need a kid car, I might,
what's that?
I might be in the bidding.
Well, I tell you, there's a lot of contractors and blue collar people that like grabbing them.
I'm sure that's the one I can't ask for sitting here, but,
And we take good care of them, we maintain them well.
Conflict of
That's
interest.
another cost that's going crazy, is mechanics cost, so.
And that resale is a stripped equipment?
Correct, there's nothing in it, we take everything out of it.
Gotcha.
My question is there any improvement in the wait time for offloading patients at emergency rooms?
I spent 3 hours Friday night working. I covered a shift and it was 3 hours. Hospitals are tough. They don't have their paperwork ready, so you have to wait. They're still treating patients for pain. Nurses are fighting over not taking the patient because they're at their 5 minimum because of safety issues. They don't want to take the patient, so they would have 6. They have a safety nursing thing, so we're sitting there waiting for them to figure out who's gonna take report on our patient, and, we're caught in the middle, and it's bad, and our people sitting on walls in the hospitals awaiting turnover of care is not right, it's not fair. I think it hurts morale, and, a lot of people are leaving EMS because of it. They don't sign on to take care of people, and they're doing a lot of
Hurry up and wait.
watching people
Yeah.
and waiting, and, they don't like it, and so people are getting out of it, and you're seeing people leave for, like we talked about, fire, police, medical school, nursing school, and our medical system in this country is screwed up and it's everywhere.
Do you mostly take patients to,
70% to Saratoga.
and who makes the decision that, do you make the decision?
Well, nearest hospital usually, sometimes if they have a specialist or if they need trauma or if it's a neuro, like a stroke, we like to get med.
And is the situation bad there as well as far as,
Med's the worst.
it's worse?
It's the worst. It's the worst in all the hospitals we go to.
Scott, I have a question. For one, I think you guys do a wonderful job. Thank you. The people pass by a public referendum a tax. Have you already started receiving monies from that tax? The EMS tax?
Yes, they get that appropriation from the town of Malta every year.
Okay,
Oversee it.
Right.
okay. How much of that is your budget? Like, how much of that finances your budget?
460 of it, 5,000 of it is for volunteers, for whatever, for LoSAP, for the few volunteers we have left. We have about 17 volunteers, approximately a handful of
So out of your,
Regarding,
460 and that's 3.1 million.
Okay,
regarding growth in the town and development, how does that impact your increase in calls overall?
Usually you have more people, you get more calls, and we've seen increase in calls, especially more so at night lately. Years ago, we used to be very busy at night, and for like 7 years, we're very busy during the day. Now it just seems like at night, we're doing more calls than we're doing it in the day. I think with the building they're doing in Stillwater, the town of Stillwater, what they're putting in here, we're gonna see a great increase. We're gonna end up putting rigs on, an extra rig. We'll probably start off with an 8-hour, and we'll do all the math and figure out, you know, when this 8-hour rig or 10-hour to build it to 12, and then eventually 24, so we'll have a 4th rig on. But, you know, those are difficult things because it's hard to get people. That's the fight.
yeah, you put a rig on, you gotta have people to staff it.
That's what it is.
Or somebody's trying to get into medical school that helps you out?
They do. People go to medical school, PA, we have 2 people in
I
PA
just talked to
school.
somebody this
2
morning.
people are trying to be doctors, people need to be nurses. We have 2 or 3 EMTs that are nurses. So it's really good stepping stone for them because they understand what we do in the street when we bring them.
Well, thanks a lot, Scott.
Any questions? Everybody knows how to get hold.
Yep,
There you go.
we'll be in touch.